ऑलराइट बच्चों, तो आज की सीरीज में, इन दिस पर्टिकुलर सीरीज, वी आर गोइंग टू डू डेफिनेट इंटीग्रेशन, राइट? सो डेफिनेट इंटीग्रेशन एक ऐसा टॉपिक है जो आई वुड रादर से मॉडरेट टू टफ लेवल पे पूछा जाता है. इजी किसी एंगल से नहीं है ये, आप मॉडरेट टू टफ में पूछ सकते हो. जो इजी भी आता है ना, ऐसा जो कॉन्सेप्ट होता है वो मॉडरेट बन जाता है. क्यों? बिकॉज वो लेंदी हो जाता है कई बार. सो आउट ऑफ द 8 क्वेश्चन पेपर्स दैट केम इन January 2019, 8 question papers, they were 10 questions out of डेफिनेट. सो वेटेज बढ़ गई देखा जाए एक हिसाब से, जो कि एक्सपेक्टेड है. इसलिए हम कहते हैं कि बहुत ज़्यादा वेटेज के ऊपर वेरी नहीं करना चाहिए. वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग 1 क्वेश्चन पर पेपर, बट डजेंट मैटर. इस बार दो पेपरों में या 3 पेपरों में 3 क्वेश्चन, दो क्वेश्चन आ गए. या कई बार ऐसा भी हुआ कि हमें जो क्वेश्चन है वो एरिया और डिफरेंशियल के जो क्वेश्चन होते हैं उसका सब देखा जाए बेस तो डेफिनेट ही होता है, वो यूज़ करके डेफिनेट का क्वेश्चन बना दिया. सो इसीलिए भी कई बार आपको लगेगा क्वेश्चन बढ़ गए, बट नथिंग टू मैटर. बट दिस इज़ अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट चैप्टर इफ़ यू वांट टू स्कोर हाई, बिकॉज आप देख रहे हो वेटेज कितनी है कि यार 10 क्वेश्चन आए हैं, तो हो सकता है आप जब जाओ तो देर इज़ अ हाई प्रोबेबिलिटी दैट देयर विल बी 2 क्वेश्चंस इन योर एग्जामिनेशन. बिकॉज 8 में से 5 सेशंस में एक क्वेश्चन आया, और जो 3 सेशन थे उनमें कितने क्वेश्चन बन गए? कुछ लगभग 2 क्वेश्चन बन गए, कुछ इस तरीके का. ठीक है, जबकि 11 क्वेश्चन बनते हैं, कैलकुलेशन खुद कर लेना. बट एक्सपेक्टेड है कि यार आपके भी पे सेशन में 2 क्वेश्चन आ सकते हैं. सो लेट्स लुक इनटू डेप्थ ऑफ हाउ द क्वेश्चंस वर आस्क्ड एंड सी टू इट. चलिए शुरू करते हैं. Okay, now let us see this question. This question came on 9th Jan, shift 1. That is the first question that came on definite. And it is asking you modulus property. So this question is based on modulus property. And what is modulus property? That we know that you have to break the function before applying the limits. So if you say 0 to pi cos x raised to power cube, since cube is there, so it's an odd function. So that means you will have to split this into 2 parts, where you will say it will be cos cube x, and one of the portion will say it will be minus cos cube x, depending on which interval the x will lie. We all know that the value of the cosine function is positive in the first half and it is negative in the second half. So this was the all question that you have to think about. Very simple, very easy as expected, that this property. But remember, the modulus property has to be used. This generally is used with the property where you have to break the function before applying the integration. So the property that we are using is that a to b fx dx, that you must have done. Just quickly revising the property: a to c fx plus c to b, where c lies between a and b, and that is how we have to split the graph. So the idea is that this integral will be 0 to pi by 2 cos cube x integral minus times pi by 2 pi cos cube x. Why this minus? Because of this minus cos cube x, right? This is how you have to integrate that. Okay, and now you guys can go on and to solve this. But if you notice, now let me write the but part, which is important. This is lengthy, isn't it? And always notice that definite integration is basically not a method of how you solve in an indefinite. Indefinite is known to have lengthy calculations. Definite is a way by which you can actually reduce the length of a question. So is there any other property that we know will definitely going to reduce this calculation, or where we might not even have to split this? And why? Again, we are thinking because of the modulus property. Why? Let's see. The property that I am hinting at using, if you have known this property, 0 to 2a fx dx is equal to 2 times 0 to a fx dx. Very important property. If you do not know, please remember this. This happens only when fx is actually a even function, and fx is a even function, then this is going to happen here, right? So let's check what is the function fx here and why mod is going to be used here. Fx is mod cos x. Since it's a mod, we know that it is always positive. It doesn't matter what you are going to put inside it. So even if we say cos of minus x, being a cos function, cos was automatically a even function. So cos it would have been equal to cos of x only. Why we are solving? Because for even function we need to check what is the value of cos of minus x. This if you see, and if I put a mod sign, it is actually equal to fx. So that implies that this function is even. And now this I, which is 0 to pi cos x whole cube dx, is now will be 2 times 0 to, now you will reduce this pi to pi by 2, mod cos x whole cube. Now why we have done this, now you would be knowing really very well, because from now always notice, I will again take a brief moment to explain the very basics. What are the limits? Limits are nothing but the values which the variable of integration can take. So by having said that, this means x will lie between 0 to pi by 2. अगर x 0 से pi by 2 में lie करेगा, which is your first quadrant. If this is your first quadrant, that means this is going to be positive. So ये क्या बन गया? आप mod हटा सकते हो अब. Since it's a first quadrant, so mod cos x is nothing but equal to cos x. So this will become what? Cos cube x dx. So this is much simpler than what we guys were doing earlier. So please keep in mind that you need to find the best method to solve definite. Otherwise, it will go for a lengthy calculation and you will lose out the chance to score 4 marks, which should have been scored within a minute time, but you will spend 3 minutes for that particular question, which are very crucial in the examination. अब इसके आगे क्या करना है? इसमें आगे गलती ये मत कर देना, बहुत सारे बच्चे पेपर के समय ये गलती कराते हैं, which I have seen, कि भैया इसमें अब यहाँ वैल्यू डाल देंगे सर पाई बाय 2 और 0 और क्वेश्चन सॉल्व. It's a trigonometric function, not x raised to power 3, right? So how these kind of questions are solved? For these kind of questions, you will have to convert this cos cube into, first of all, so again, hint is from power, you need to go to multiple angle. You will need to go to multiple angle. That is what you can do here. So we know the formula is that cos 3x is equal to 4 cos cube x minus 3 cos x, and from here I can say that cos cube x is equal to 1 by 4 times 3 cos x plus cos 3x. There were other methods also by which you could have solved this question, but this I feel is the easiest and the one you should have done in the examination hall. Okay, so अगर मैं इसके आगे यहाँ पर कंटिन्यू करता हूँ तो ये यहाँ पर क्या हो जाता है 2/4 integral from 0 to pi by 2, this will become 3 cos x plus cos 3x dx. Now you can easily go further and solve this question and we will get our particular answer in this. So we know that the integral of 3 cos, now you can just simply go on like this, right? A lot of you would still have some shortcuts here because we as a teachers teach that you should know the integral of cos x from 0 to pi by 2, and similarly integral of sin x from 0 to pi by 2, which is nothing but 1. This is what we teach, but if you do not know, nothing to worry about. Now you just need to put the values of pi by 2 and 0. For 0 it will be nothing but 0 only. Hence this is how we find the answer. Also note there are a lot of scopes of doing error here. At 0, once you put 0, everything will be 0, but when you put pi by 2, so the first figure will be 3, and I have seen students again committing this mistake. They will write 3 plus 1 by 3. So it will not be 3 plus 1 by 3, it will be 3 minus 1 by 3, because it will become 3 minus, here it will be sine 3 pi by 2. So it will be minus 1, right? This is how you have to solve this particular question. Really good question, easy question, but you can see a lot of things to be kept in mind for even fetching that 4 marks, which looks very obvious, but in the examination there are chances that you might succumb to nervousness, anxiety, and lose out that 4 marks. Okay, let's move forward. Okay, now let's see this next question, which is already there on your screen. 9th Jan shift 2. You can start solving if you want to. All the options are there, and it's a question of trigonometric limits, yeah, or let's say trigonometric functions, right, where inside function is trigonometric function. You see there is tan and secant. So generally we have tan secant pair in the questions of trigo, or we will definitely roll out the question in sine and cosine function. These are the basic two strategies which you have to follow. So if you see this question, you cannot just go ahead and solve by tan and secant approach. That is why we have to reject this method where we'll substitute tan x equal to t, secant square theta is equal to dt, something like that. That rules out. So let's try and first of all see whether we can solve this question using the other one, that is the sine and cosine approach. And I believe me, as a teacher, I can tell you that this method almost every time will come in very, very handy. Almost every time, right? That if you convert it into sine and cosine pair, you will find that you will be able to solve the questions really easily, right? So let's see, what this will return to you is 1 by root 2k. So we have to find the value of 2k, which is a constant, by the way, so it is not involved in integration as such, and this will be something like this. Now this looks like really easy, isn't it? See yourself. We know that we just have to do a substitution, that is cos theta is equal to t. So minus sine theta d theta is equal to dt, and voila, our answer is solved. Okay, so this is perfectly all right, but I would again like to suggest another thing, that it will be better if you guys go forward with the substitution of t square. Why I am saying this? Because in the exam you should not leave any point where you can have a silly error. Because of this t square, what will happen, that under root will vanish. That's the important constraint. So now after doing this substitution here, I will be what? Let me write whatever the constant stuff was there earlier. So this will be right. Now this sine theta d theta is nothing but will be impersonated by minus 2t dt, and here lower term, the lower value or the denominator would be what? T only. Isn't that becoming simple? Had it been कि आपने कुछ और substitute करा होता तो उसमें अभी तक t बचा हुआ होता और वो हमें solve करना पड़ता. Only problem now left is to find the upper limits and the lower limits, which you guys can really do very quickly. So here lower limit would be t equal to 1 because it will be cos 0, and the upper limit will be what? Cos of pi by 3. Cos of pi by 3 is 1 by 2 and it's t square, so it will become 1 by root 2. So the I is now nothing but 1 by, let me write it, 1 by under root 2k from 1 to 1 by root 2. अब देखो हो क्या रहा है यहाँ पर 1 से लेकर 1 by root 2. Here this is bigger and this is smaller, so I was already expecting एक माइनस साइन आना चाहिए, जो कि अंदर देखो ऑलरेडी है. हर चीज एक सेंस बना रही है, तुम्हें कुछ घबराने की जरूरत नहीं है इस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन में. सो अगर मैं इसको ऑलरेडी अगर एक बार ढंग से लिखता तो ये क्या बन चुका है? 2 बाय रूट के, और अगर मैं माइनस साइन को लेता हूँ तो ये आ गया 1 बाय रूट के टू 1 dt. वेरी सिंपली दिस विल बी 2 बाय रूट के, और ये क्या आ गया? 1 माइनस 1 बाय रूट के. दिस इज हाउ यू विल राइट दिस पर्टिकुलर एक्सप्रेशन. Now you will need to find the value of k when already this is there, right? Isn't it? This is there. Okay, so if you notice, when this is there, that is, let me remove this now. So this is already given to you here. It is here. So this value shouldn't be nothing but equal to 1. For this to happen, k has to be equal to 2, which is the answer. Simple question again, not a big deal. I would say all of you who would have given the exam on shift 2 evening of 9th would have got it right, almost, I suppose so. All right, easy question. Let's move to the next question to see what sort of question was asked. Okay, now let's take this question which came on 10th Jan shift 1, which is, I would rather say, a lot of students found to be really challenging, and it is indeed one of the challenging questions that came with regard to definite integration. Now this is what a kind of questions we expect you to be able to solve if you are targeting a very high score of around 250 to 80. But having said that, this is really a good question which came on definite integration. So how we are going to solve this? So this requires a concept of area to be understood first of all, and a deep learning of area in terms of sketching of curves also. I'll try to use both the methods, right, and teach you that if any one of the methods you could find easier, and then you can adopt it. So let's go by the area approach, and how area approach is going to be helpful. Okay, let's see. So there are two curves involved in here, right? I'm just going the area approach first. The first approach is of the area approach, right? Minimum area. You can see that we have solved area like this, fx minus gx from a to b dx, right? This is how we have solved things, fx minus dx, where fx used to be the upper curve and gx used to be the lower curve, right? This is the general approach of solving the area method. Now, if you notice here, the upper curve is x square, x raised to power 4. Now, if you know a little bit of curve sketching, right, this is how the graphs will be plotted. Now, this blue graph is actually x square, and interestingly, this graph is x raised to power 4. And you should note this point here, that the point where they are going to meet, right, is not x equal to 1. Challenging point first of all. So this is the graph that you will have, and the point of intersection that we were trying to do is basically root 2. That is why there is root 2 in the entire options. So now, since you should also realize very important thing about definite. Definite is not actually equal to area. It is not actually saying equal to area, because area is always positive. Definite is algebraic sum of area, right? We have done this. It is algebraic sum of areas. Algebraic means that it could give you a negative answer as well, whereas the areas can never be negative. We know that fact. Area is a positive quantity. It's basically not a vectorial quantity. It's basically a scalar quantity which gives you always positive answers. So we know that if we wanted to find the area, so this is the area between these two curves. But notice which is the upper curve here. Upper curve is basically this one, right? And what is the lower curve? Lower curve is this one here, right? So if you notice, there is some problem here. Why problem? This is the upper, blue one is the upper curve, right? Upper curve is x square, whereas the lower one is x raised to power 4. So we are given a to b something, we are actually given lower minus upper, right? This is what we guys are given. So this value is actually going to come out to be negative. Please understand this fact. It's not area, we are solving definite integration. So this value is going to come out to be negative. For area we should have put a mod. Now you will remember that is why we put modular sign in the area problems. So this is going to come out to be negative. And since we want to find the minimum area, the least area in that regard, और लेट्स से द लीस्ट वैल्यू, आई शुड नॉट से एरिया बिकॉज एरिया इज पॉजिटिव होता है वो, तो यही काम एग्जैक्टली आपका कहाँ होने वाला है, लेफ्ट हैंड साइड पे भी होने वाला है. सेम डायग्राम विल बी रिपीटेड ऑन द लेफ्ट साइड ऑल्सो. समथिंग लाइक दिस is going to happen, and where again you are going to get something of this sort, isn't it? तो अगर आपको वहां पर भी ये मिलता तो वहां पर भी क्या होने वाला था, रीजन नेगेटिव रीजन आने वाला था आपके पास. ये नेगेटिव रीजन आता बिकॉज अगेन वी आर डूइंग लोअर माइनस अपर, एंड दिस इंटरसेक्शन पॉइंट विल बी नथिंग, इट विल बी माइनस रूट 2. जिन लोगों को ये समझ में नहीं आया ये कैसे आया, सो यार ये तो बहुत सिंपल था कि हमें इनको सिर्फ सॉल्व करना था. तो इसमें आपके पॉइंट ऑफ इंटरसेक्शन 3 आ रहे थे, 0 प्लस माइनस रूट 2. ठीक है, ये आ रहे थे. सो इस तरीके से अगर आप सॉल्व करते तो आपको पता चलता मिनिमम वैल्यू निकालने के लिए हमारे पास, सिंस अप लोअर माइनस अपर है, दो नेगेटिव वैल्यूज आ रही हैं हमारे पास. वी आर गेटिंग नेगेटिव्स here, so we'll add negatives plus negative to get the minimum value. That is why the answer would go from minus root 2 to root 2. जब ये दोनों ही एरियाज का नेगेटिव कर दिया जाएगा, ये जो मैं क्रॉस कर रहा हूं, इन दोनों को अगर हम नेगेटिव कर देंगे तब जाके जो आपको एरिया मिलेगा वो क्या हो जाएगा, मिनिमम हो जाएगा. दैट इज वाई द करेक्ट आंसर इज डी. दिस इज हाउ यू कुड ऑल्सो solve this particular question. So this is basically with respect to area. Now let's do the curve sketching also, if people who know curve sketching can understand that. ठीक है, तो अब अगर हमें कर्व स्केचिंग देखनी है, ये तो मैंने आपको बताया, ये था जो एरिया के तरीके से हमने इस क्वेश्चन को सॉल्व करा. सो इफ यू सी दिस वाज नॉट एक्चुअली अ प्योर डेफिनेट इंटीग्रल प्रॉब्लम. सो फॉर स्केचिंग पार्ट, सो नाउ द fx here is x square minus 2x square. we can take x square common and this becomes x square minus 2. So if you notice, this is a polynomial graph, right? Polynomial with degree 4. That means it can have a maximum 4 real roots. For this particular part, you can see the answer of the roots of x square minus 2 is plus minus 2. For x square, it will also have 2 roots, but both the roots will be 0. That means it is nothing but a double root. So the concept of double root says that the graph will come and take a U-turn. So क्या मतलब होता है, आप x square का ग्राफ बनाते हो तो रूट होता तो क्या होता, वो नीचे की तरफ जाना चाहिए था ऐसे कुछ, but rather than going this way, it happens to go something like this. It takes a U-turn because at x equal to 0, it's a double root. That means it does not changes its sign. It was positive, then it will still remain positive. So if I have to draw the graph of this, okay, let me show you. If I have to draw the graph of this function, let's say I start from infinity because it is x raised to power 4. So even if you put minus infinity here, let's say minus infinity to infinity, it is going to be positive infinity, right? X raised to power 4. Now it will go till 0, but it will not cross the line at 0 and it will take a U-turn and again it will go like this. So this is the shape that you should know if you are really good at curve sketching, which we expect from a lot of students who would say that, sir, I have prepared for JEE Advanced. So if you have prepared for JEE Advanced, this is what you should have known. And this is now the area which will be plotted. This is the area which will be plotted. And this will be minus root 2, 0 and root 2. You can see again, these are negative values. Why they are negative? Because they are being plotted below the x-axis. So negative में lowest value कब आएगा? जब ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा negative value add होगा. That is why we are still saying minus root 2 to root 2 was the answer. So this was this entire question, and I agree with a lot of students that this is really a challenging problem with regard to your JEE Mains. Generally, we don't expect this to be as a JEE Mains, but fair enough for everyone. That is why the percentile system is there to help you out for the JEE Mains. But आप इस क्वेश्चन को एक नहीं 2 या 3 बार ज़रूर देखें, जिससे आप समझ पाएंगे क्वेश्चन में पूछा क्या गया था. काफ़ी इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें हैं, बट इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस को हम प्रिपेयर करके नहीं चल सकते हैं. अगर इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस आते भी हैं तो इट विल बी बेटर टू लीव देम इफ़ यू डिसाइड टू नो दैट आपको कर्व स्केचिंग या एरिया बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छा नहीं आता है. ठीक है, चलिए अगला क्वेश्चन देखते हैं.